I can't remember the last time the Earth was in this much danger. Black Adam, we need to talk. And that's the highlight of this movie. So, yeah, we got to spoilers real quick, right quick. Now, this movie was a mixed superhero movie, like McDonald's MC superhero movie. This is a mixed superhero movie. How do I explain that to you? If you've seen superhero movies since, I guess, the X-Men, maybe Batman, but definitely X-Men the year 2000, and everything else after that, you come to expect what you come to expect, with Amanda Waller being there. And it questioned my thinking of, none of these characters were developed that well. At the worst, The Rock comes off as some big goon that has to, a little kid has to teach him how to do things. And at best, he really gets the role down that you're looking at him. Though my personal favorite is Arnold Vosloo from The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, in which The Rock was the Scorpion King. But there's very little you learn at the beginning. It's one of those movies where we start in the past. We start in 2600 BC in Kandak, just like the comic books, right? So you go to the comic books, you go to Kandak, you see a boy, and they're looking for Eternium, not to be confused with Eternia. And so the king wants to find Eternium so he can make a crown out of Eternium and have great power. It's never clear exactly what this Eternium does. Obviously, I have to go back to the comic books. Now, Superman's just there in the post-credits to keep Black Adam in check. As I told you in Black Rain, the JSA agreed to let Teth Adam stay in Kandak as sort of a house arrest because the people want him there. And it's just as in the movie, the people want Black Adam there. They want him to stay in Kandak and protect the people. He is the protector. He's going to give the people their freedom. He's not there to be a superhero. He's not there to be a king. But yeah, it's just who he is. He's an unremarkable man given remarkable circumstances. And that's where it is. That's what it is for him. So we go to Kandak in the past. A boy finds Eternium. No, a peasant. There are all these bald peasants like Egyptians, okay? I would say Kandak's like an Egyptian kind of country. And they find this Eternium. It's like the shiny blue kryptonite thing that everybody wants for themselves. The boy takes it, and he makes this. It's hard to show you here. Let me get the stand because I have to stand this properly. It's like this, okay? So he makes the triangle with my two hands here, making a triangle. And that's how you get the symbol of Kandak, the symbol of peace and liberty, and according to their rules and laws. For the people, they want liberty. It's like with Hosni Mubarak, overthrow Hosni Mubarak after 40 years of rule so that the people of Egypt would have their peace. It's kind of like you look at those real life events and then you combine superhero nonsense in there. So, of course, it's no secret that the JSA are in there. You have Dr. Fate. By the way, I mean, like, these superheroes, part of it's phoning in the performance, and part of it is they really put their best. I do like the African-American Tornado. I think she does all right. But, and with Adam Smasher, they call him Smasher, so it's not to get the Ryan Choi Adam mixed up. And I think he was I'm not sure if he was in the original Justice League cut, but I think he was in Batman v Superman. I'm not sure. Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan did all right. And I forgot who played Hawkman. Probably like him the least. Now, there had been this whole thing about, because Dr. Fate is this mystic. He's the alternative Doctor Strange for most people who don't understand, but Dr. Fate did come before Doctor Strange. And in past versions, what Smallville, he was a schizophrenic or a guy who didn't have all his marbles, and when he put on the helmet, he was Dr. Fate. He met Lois Lane, Clark Kent, all that stuff. And I don't think he was in DC's Legends of Tomorrow, but he was definitely in this movie with no eyes, with the mask with no eyes. And Dr. Fate can duplicate himself, kind of like Neo in the simulated world. There was a lot of things going on. It's basically that So the movie starts out with that past. Then we go, the son is told by the father to put his dreams away, to put his dreams away. Don't dream about superheroes and things like that. You got to work as a peasant to mine for this eternium for the king so he can make a crown for himself. And when the king got too greedy, the way it played out was that the wizards, the same actor you see create Billy Batson Shazam, creates Teth Adam Shazam. So they create Black Adam with Egyptian gods instead of Greek gods, and then Black Adam is born, and he kills the king and the whole court, but he was greedy on power. And the thing was that we obviously there's more to the story, which you get about an hour and a half in. I think it was a 2 hour movie. You get that, and that's his final suit. Because his suit's kind of rusty and dirty, like real gold, aged gold, like you mine for gold. And his original suit had the aged gold on it, and that's his final costume. But Teth Adam, it was his son who was holding up the Eternium and making the triangle with his hands, and the boy was set to be executed by the king for stealing goods. And instead of becoming a martyr, he just disappeared and became the first Black Adam. But then he came before, which was confusing because you see an actor that's not The Rock, right? It's another person. I guess it's what the son would look like. It's Hirut. In the comic books, Shirut, or people would pronounce it Sharuta, but it's Hirut, was the wife of Teth Adam. And in this, it's the son. So the son is Hirut, which Northern Hirut is named after. And it was interesting. And then they put Intergang. When I think of Intergang, I think of Superman and high-tech criminals always trying to steal high-tech weapons and shit. Like Intergang is like a mobster. It's a legal group, but they're always doing illegal things behind the scenes, or it's a very crooked society. But the first time we're introduced to Intergang in the DCEU is in Kandak, in a third world country. So go figure. And when you go to Kandak in present times, you're shown this sort of, it's sort of like you're going like through the eyes of a drone, okay, like on a roller coaster, going very fast through the city, okay, and so you get to see all the sights. There's the JSA. Like I said, underdeveloped characters. These characters come together, and there's Sarah Shahi. I'll talk about a little bit about Sarah Shahi and her son, the boy who plays her son. So we get a look at these. Hawkman's in the bottom, I think. I think he's at the bottom. No, I can't see the rest of the image. So we look at Kandak they're looking for Sarah Shahi, who you remember from Person of Interest and all that. And she's wanted because she's looking for the Eternium, or she stole Eternium. This is all about Eternium, okay? So you got Eternium, you're looking for the Eternium, and she does a little bit of Lara Croft. And I saw this scene that was so much like Tomb Raider. Having watched the 2 Tomb Raider movies, I thought this was very cool. I like that scene because she does enough Lara Croft tomb raiding to just read the inscription and summon Black Adam. Because in the backstory, the adult son, by magic, comes back to the dad, who is dying, I guess. The same soldiers who went to kill his son, to execute his son, went after the father. So you see flashbacks of Teth Adam as The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is in like a CGI, unremarkable looking body. He's got the body of like, say, Chris Pine, or like Chris Pine, like not really working out, but kind of a little bit skinnier, right? And then when the son gives the father his power, the father becomes Black Adam. So he gets to continue on the quest, but he is put away for thousands of years, and then he's released again by Sarah Shahi. So Sarah Shahi there is the sort of the pivotal character. It's all about this stupid crown, like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's all about the stupid crown that they have to get a hold of so that they can one person can have ultimate power. Now it's pretty obvious. You know who the bad guy is. It's a terrorist guy with a gun. Middle Eastern. It's Middle Easterns versus Middle Easterns. Good guys and bad guys. And so he gets the crown, but somebody else dies. It should have occurred to Sarah Shahi that I think she's called Shiandra in the movie, but it should be obvious that when one of her friends is dead and they're looking for the crown, right? When she's going Lara Crofting on the crown, she's jumping around, jumping on platforms and shit. It should have occurred when one person died and the other person didn't. She asks him, "Oh, where's Marty? I don't know, whatever the guy's name is." And he's like, "Oh, well, he must have taken a bathroom break." Like something suspicious should have happened there. She just assumed he died. But it's like, wait a minute, don't you find this funny? So that's what that was about. And so the movie goes on basically that the JSA are alerted to Black Adam's presence. Black Adam is summoned by Sarah Shahi to take out the soldiers. He's got the hood, he's got the cape on. He looks magnificent. Of course, it's The Rock. He's never going to look bad. But it goes on. He takes out soldiers. You got these soldiers. You got these bad guys. There's a lot of forced tropes. You got enemy soldiers. You got intergang. You got Amanda Waller, who feels forced now into these narratives. You got the JSA, because you're not going to have the Justice League in there. So you're going to have the JSA. Just other characters that are not directly conflicting with Snyderverse until we get to the Flash movie. You got The Rock, who is gone. He's absent. And he's actually absent through I think an hour and a half in. And you think that it's going to be the JSA taking on this devil creature. So the guy, the terrorist that wanted the crown in modern times, he's the descendant of the king that the original Black Adam killed. Big surprise there. And he becomes this demon. So I think he meets Lord Satanas and Blaze from the Superman comic books. I think that's who he meets. My DC knowledge only goes so far back. Black Adam box office collection. Earning and occupancy. Well, we can't wait for that. So that's what happens. It's basically that Dr. Fate dies, but he made it clear that Hawkman would die. Now, what was interesting is that, when I was watching the real Tomb Raider, Alicia Vikander, there's a moment where the bad guy is about to shoot her in the head. And it's about 40 minutes in the movie, and I just like, bullshit. Come on, don't give us this crap. She's going to survive because she is the main character. So because the JSA are side characters, this is not the JSA movie, this is the Black Adam movie, who is the star of the show, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Of course, he was going to show up at the end and break free because the JSA do take down Black Adam. Not because they were more powerful, but because Black Adam chose to give up, because he had realized it was through dumb luck and him throwing people around and tossing soldiers like 5,000 feet away or something like that. There's a good exchange between Dr. Fate and Black Adam. Like, you killed him, didn't you? We could have gotten information out of him. Hawkman's angry. Dr. Fate is philosophical. And for some weird reason, through product placement of Lay's potato chips and other foods, Atom Smasher's a pig. He likes to eat food. He's glutton. And Tornado's the only real smart person, but, well, I would say May Hunkel is probably well balanced. So she's not too much this or too much that. I liked looking at the Tornado. Very beautiful lady. But we didn't get to spend enough time with these people. The JSA is sort of like, oh, well, think of it like the X-Men. See, it's like the X-Men. But that's the X-Men and the JSA are two different companies and two different groups of people. We need a little bit more. You know what I wanted to see more was more of the people of Kandak. Because Kandak is not a real place, but the narrative that it could be borrowing from Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia culture. So they do cultural things that are reminiscent of Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan. And you're reminded of those things. I wanted to see a little bit more of the people. I wanted to see a bit more of the JSA. they just, you got Henry Winkler, nod, a wink and a nod. You got these cameos. So you got cameos, you got the bad guy, you check all the boxes. Here's the different outfits. This is the first outfit you see. This is the second outfit. This is the final one. And I think he says something here. He's in front of the building. I think this is the moment, this scene here, because he's in front of the statue. This is the moment where he says, and the next time when I'm done here, you have to make sure I never utter the word Shazam. So he's at first he's locked up through Amanda Waller through a proxy, and he's locked up with what, Helgramite, Killer Croc, Killer Moth. I don't know, these big gargantuan blockbuster. I don't know who's in those other red coffins, those other cryogenic coffins, but whatever. He's in there. So he gets out, of course, and he stops the big red devil that the terrorist guy turned into, because you have Sarah Shahi and that annoying kid. I'm running around in circles here, but there's a poster. Here's another scene. This scene here is, I don't know what that is. I think it's one of the JSA coming after, because this is not yet the end of the movie. This is where the son and the father, this explains the origin of what happened, of how you got Death Adam. Who's better, Iron Man or Black Adam? And you got, we don't see Shara, unless you're counting Sarah Shahi. Unless Sarah Shahi is Hawk Girl, I don't think we're going to see her. African-American Hawkman. So there's very little. Henry Cavill did not disappoint. I gave it a 5 out of 10 because I call it the mixed superhero movie. The mixed superhero movie checks all the boxes. Basically, a mixed superhero movie is not an original movie. It follows on the footsteps of what has been done before. It is a follower and not a leader. It shows you tropes. It shows you cliches. It shows you MacGuffins. And it is not based on anything from personal experience or personal credit, but through the credit of other things you have seen and heard. And yet it is done well enough that you could like McDonald's, you could like McMovie, McSuperhero movie, but not enough to say that you would watch it again, again, again. Ultimately, and there's the action figure, this is the toy, I would still give this a 5, but because Henry Cavill was in the end, we're going to end it on this, I think. Let me bring it over. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I think that this is probably a comic book prequel. This works on some levels, but doesn't work on all levels. Ultimately, I think that you could do better with X-Men Days of Future Past and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And other cartoon adaptations, maybe The Mummy Returns, but in that one, The Rock played a bad guy. So, and Arnold Vosloo played a bad guy. I think Arnold Vosloo, he's too old now, but Arnold 20 years ago would have captured the comic book version perfectly of Black Adam. But we got. And I think Dwayne's portrayal is more of a hit than a miss, but it's kind of like, it reminds me of Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. It's like given bad plots. So until next time, where do we go from here? We'll find out another day.